bring in our Money America's accounting professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Dan, great to see you today.
Great
to be on the couch with us again. Before we get going, because I think this is the most important topic of the day, your shoes. If y'all weren't tuned in at 7, Dan has, how many pairs of these shoes do you have?
I haven't counted them, Allison, but I'm guessing somewhere about 30 or 40 pairs.
Wow. Does your wife have as many shoes as you?
Well,
are you playing a competition?
Not quite like this, she doesn't, no.
I love them. So you can wear a different pair every time we have you on the show. That's the goal.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so let's talk some business. All right, the markets ended this week on a high note. The Dow jumped over 200 points to close on yet another record. This after a strong October jobs report. S&P 500 notched its 7th straight day of gains, and the NASDAQ also finished in the green. Okay, so a good week overall. We've been having some good weeks here.
Yes, we have, and it goes back to what we were talking about in the earlier segment. Interest rates. Jerome Powell indicating that interest rates are not going to be going up. Therefore, great news for the stock market, because where are you going to be able to keep up with the rate of inflation? Right. Not in your savings account, Allie. You're going to have to go into the stock market.
I know. All right. Well, the Chicago Bulls legend Michael Jordan, so he's topping the list of highest paid athletes of all time by Sportico, earning $2.62 billion. Only 6% of Jordan's total earnings are from his playing days. The remainder is based on endorsements, licensing, memorabilia sales. So Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Cristiano Ronaldo round out to the top 5 list of highest paid athletes of all time in inflation-adjusted earnings. So pretty good if you're one of them.
Yeah, and if you look at Michael Jordan, obviously, perhaps the greatest athlete of all time, but made most of his money, the vast majority of his money, off the basketball court. And that famous line he had, Republicans buy sneakers too.
I know,
so
I remember
Jordan has stayed away from all the political fighting and stayed on message with his
lane, right?
Yes.
Which I think a lot of people think athletes should do, as well as, musicians and stars of Hollywood. All right, so New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams, he says he's going to take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin. This coming after the mayor of Miami saying he would take his next paycheck in the cryptocurrency world. Adams also adding in his tweet, quote, "New York City is going to be the center of cryptocurrency industry." Interesting. I still get baffled on this whole, cryptocurrency thing.
It's really a difficult concept to understand for sure. But what message is the mayor-elect sending? Is it that he believes we're still going to be in an inflationary period, therefore he wants to hedge and go into cryptocurrency? Is he saying he's not confident in the federal government and wants to move away and be in cryptocurrencies?
Yeah.
We should ask him that question.
We should. We'll see if he'll come on the show.
Yes.
All right. So speaking of money, because we all know a Peloton costs big bucks, but Peloton shares tumbled 35% yesterday after the at-home fitness equipment maker slashed its annual sales forecast by as much as $1 billion. And at least 4 Wall Street firms downgraded the stock following Peloton's dismal first quarter report released on Thursday. The company is left backpedaling as more consumers are heading back to gyms. So we all know how well they did during the pandemic, because nobody could go to gyms.
Right.
And I think and don't quote me, but I think they lowered their price on one of their older bikes. So is this a surprise to you?
Well, it's really not. Listen, I think Peloton has an incredible product. The technology that they put into exercising really paid well during the pandemic. But now people are getting back out and they're saying, I don't necessarily want to be doing my exercise within the 4 same walls that I'm stuck in. So I want to get outside and do some exercising, get back to the gym, anything to get out of the house,
I know,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, they do. They have all these apps now that you can do in different classes. So it is fun to do, at least if you don't want to go out, especially as it gets cold. But we'll see. We'll see how they do for the Christmas sales. Meantime, U.S. Airlines are planning to hire tens of thousands of new employees to fill the gaps created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Flight attendants, they could receive triple their pay for holiday trips if they have perfect attendance. All peak period trips will be paid at 150% of their base pay. The airlines had avoided mass layoffs in exchange for billions of dollars in grants and loans from the U.S. government, all in an effort to avoid more embarrassing flight cancellations. We've been hearing about that. But hey, listen, if you're a flight attendant, that's a pretty good deal.
It is a good deal. If you're a consumer, not so much.
Yeah.
Now, does anybody really really think that the airline industries are just going to absorb these additional costs for what they're going to have to incur to get people back to work? Of course not. We are going to see the cost of travel rising. And again, we go back to that I word, inflation.
Right, and fuel
everywhere.
prices, everything, right? So everything
Across
goes up.
the board.
And this is, of course, the year that, a lot of people are going to want to travel. They're going to want to get out. We just did a segment on seasonal depression. They're saying you got to go somewhere warm. So hopefully the prices won't go up too much.
Well, it raises the question to me. People want to tout, salaries are going up.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're in quicksand.
Yeah.
They're running in place because everything else is going up more.
I know. You can't keep up. You can't keep up. All right. So I just want to get to this because I thought this was a really fun story. So the comeback of the cassette tape. Did you remember cassette tapes?
What are you trying to say to me? Yes, of course I do.
Mixed tapes, right? That you would make, and you'd have all different ones. So the collectible cassette tape of Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack that was just released. This is the first return of the record label Craft Recordings in 30 years. According to the company, only 5,000 tapes will be released. They run for about $12.99, so it's not cheap. Going retro. I don't think my kids know what a cassette tape is, but that's kind of cool.
I think it's a great thing, but here's my question. Where do you play it? I'll gladly buy a cassette, but I have nowhere to play it.
I bet you can find something on eBay.
You probably can, but I certainly don't have a cassette deck ready to go right now.
The old school Walkman or my little pink radio that I had the cassette. That's long gone.
I think you're a little older than me. I don't remember that, quite frankly.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan Geltrude. Always great to have you. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. All right. Well, Thursday is Veterans Day, and it's a day to celebrate those who served our country proud. We'll discuss the national holiday with two veterans who know a thing or two about combat and evacuation training. You're watching Wake Up America Weekend only on NewsMax.